My name is Beth Byrd-Lonski. I'm a professional mime and clown. I'm originally from Anderson, Indiana, and I moved here in 1985. And in 1995 is when I started my own company called Byrd Productions Physical Theater. So since my last name's Byrd, and so BYRD, a lot of my characters are named Byrd. So I was Sparrow the court jester for 17 years, Tweets the clown, Avi the mime, and then since then I've studied with lots of different folks and developed other characters. One of the ones I use the most now is a Clarity Brown, the clown that runs the DMV.
Have you always wanted to perform and be a clown? What was your dream job growing up?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a clown, actually.
What was the earliest you can remember wanting to be a clown?
There are photos of me mugging into the camera in a diaper, where I'm holding. There are doilies. You know, there used to be these things called doilies on furniture. People would knit them up and put them on the. Anyway, there's a picture of me with a doily on my head in a diaper. I think that's my memory of the photo. I haven't seen the photo in a while. Where I'm mugging into the camera. And there was a guy on television at the time, Red Skelton, and he called himself one of America's clowns. So I thought all clowns did what he did, which was multiple characters. It wasn't about the red nose and the kind of stuff I think a lot of Americans think of as clown. Nothing wrong with that. I do a lot of red-nosed clown. But I'm mugging into the camera doing my best Clem Cadiddlehopper, which is one of his characters. But I always knew I wanted to be a clown. I wanted to be a Red Skelton.
So do you consider what you do in art?
Absolutely. It's art, it's a craft, it's work. I'm always learning how to do my job better. It's a real job that the world needs to have happen. It's, in some ways I feel like I put on a uniform and I'm going to use all of my skills when I go out to do my job. And if I ever feel a little overwhelmed by my job while I'm out performing, if I can step aside, take a break, gather up again and go back out, it can take a lot of energy. Well, it absolutely takes a lot of energy. That's one of the main things about the job is your energy, the energy that you're giving and receiving, and really paying attention to what's actually happening in that moment, in the present, and just constantly tuning into what's happening now and now and now. Even if you're performing a show and you've got your outline for your show, you have to stay sharp because that's what makes that show different every time, is reading the audience. And here's the thing, without the audience, I could perform something and film it and show it, but to me, as a physical artist, as a physical theater artist, if I don't have that live feedback from the audience, it's not a true performance. It's not a complete performance because we're creating it together. So when people say, "Oh, but I'll watch it on video," I'm not going to release what I do on video. You're going to have to come see me live, because that's the only way it's really going to happen. So when people say if they're wanting something that's actually happening, they have to be part of the happening.
What are your least favorite and favorite parts of performing?
Well, the favorite is, so I do just like any person who's a real clown. Real clowns do it out of love. They do it out of love for humanity, for people. And the least favorite part is if somebody thinks I'm doing it for something other than that. If they don't get that that's the context for me being there, whatever their context for clown, if it's something other than that, they're not seeing real clown. And I'm a real clown. I know so many different ways to say the same thing, but my context is love. And a lot of that could be altered, somebody else's perception of why I'm there. I mean, that's their perception. There's not a lot I can do about that. A lot of it the change of perception has come about for many reasons. Right now, I think we're living in interesting times. May the curse is, may you live in interesting times. We are living in extremely interesting times right now. I think one of the reasons why clowns are being used the way we're being used, which is to scare people right now, and not just the movie It. Stephen King is great at his job, which is to make us fear things that we used to be comforted by, from our dogs, Cujo, to our cars, Christine, to corn. We eat corn, things like that. Clowns do what they do out of love. But I do think that it is a real sign of the times that we are being told to fear clowns. Well, my new theory on this right now is because we don't know who to trust. So it's like a time of chaos. We used to know that we could trust clowns. And I know there's a whole generation that's never trusted clowns. Like, that's never been their context. I've run into them, they're in their 20s and 30s, and they're like, oh, my whole life I've feared clowns. Like, yeah, but you're young, relatively young. Think about that. Up until your childhood, when the first movie It came out, we knew we could trust clowns because clowns were doing it out of love. And it was the rare, odd thing like the John Wayne Gacy's. That made news big time because he's violating our trust. So yeah, here we are in these interesting times. We don't know who to trust. So chaos. But I think people should also be mad about it. They should be angry that one of the ways that we have to console ourselves, our souls, our spirits, who we are, has been taken away. We used to know we could go someplace and have a laugh and relax and clear our minds, get rid of the stress and anxiety and distrust and all the things that are keeping us from being us. Clown is one of those safe spaces. And when that's taken away, where can we go? I think people should wonder and question why this is happening. When you look around, like, what other things are being taken from us? A lot of things.
Do you have dreams as a clown?
Yes. That's one of the things where you're a clown, because I just had a clown dream. There are times where I'll even put on my nose as I go to sleep. I'll try to journal as that character right before I go to sleep. Maybe wear my nose for that character or a piece of costuming, and I'll come up with clown ideas that character would have. There are times where I would have to sleep with a journal next to me, so I would wake up and write out. I would dream an entire show, an entire routine, and wake up and write it out as fast as possible. And I'm thinking, like, why haven't I done that lately? I really have to concentrate on turning off my phone, I didn't even listen to the radio on the way here. Like, giving my brain a chance to come to full relaxation, and that's where it starts writing its own stuff. And it's kind of fascinating to me that my brain will work on stuff, and then I wake up and write it down. And then I'll write it. I've got legal pads full of stuff, and I've woken myself up laughing. Like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm like, oh, I'm hilarious. No, it's this, like, there's this part of my brain that's like, it's me, but it's not me. It's writing, and it's like, okay, let's see if the audience thinks this is hilarious now. So yeah. Usually they do. Yeah. Did you want to see some of the old photos?
Yes, I would love to
All right.
see that.
I used to keep everything, any article, and I've had a lot of articles since then. But yeah, my first year, had my own stage show for 17 years at the Renaissance Festival. And then this is an older clown character. I don't wear a suit anymore because just like when I was talking about how we don't know, so monsters, like monsters come about, like we fear when there were blood diseases. That's when vampire stories came out. When we feared science, that's when Frankenstein came out. When we don't know who to trust, that's when we started demonizing clowns. Clowns, you have to stay with the times. We don't trust people in suits right now. So a clown is not going to wear a suit unless they're spoofing somebody wearing a suit. As my very first, one of my very first, well, actually, this is me when I was 7, and I won the costume contest. So, and my mom put all that together, and you can't tell, but the makeup was terrible. So and then I had my own stage show called Pasticcio of mime, and so that I toured some theaters with that. And actually I've written a lot of shows. Let's see, I was on a poster. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks. All right. Yeah, older. I keep creating.
Even though you're only make-believing, laugh, clown, laugh. Even though something inside is grieving, laugh, clown, laugh. Don't let your heart grow too mellow. Just be a real Punchinello. Hello. You're supposed to brighten up a place, so laugh, clown, laugh. Paint a lot of smiles around your face and laugh, clown. Don't frown, just in your vessel tuba. Be a Pagliaccia, laugh, clown.